Hello, Cancer. It's time for your weekly reading. This one will be for May 8th to the 14th, 2021. I hope it's going to be a good one. I'm going to do a little bit of a different spread for you that I've only done beginning today. The first three cards will be about you. The second three cards will be about what's going on in your life. It can be your obstacles, it could be things that you want to do, it could be things that you're doing, it could be things about your work that you're currently doing, anything that's about what you're doing. And then the last three cards will be about the outcome. We can formulate some kind of advice situation out of these cards. So if you have a question, hopefully they will answer it one way or another. Now, of course, this is a general reading, so it'll be different for everybody. But I'm sure if you think about it, you can figure out how the cards apply to your situation if I don't come up with your exact situation, because, it's general, so I'm just throwing stuff out there. This is not like if I were talking to you personally, then things would be far more accurate, of course. But I have been getting a lot of emails from you guys, and they're very positive about the accuracy of the readings they've been watching, so that was really good to hear. So if you want to tell me anything at all, please feel free. I've got my email below. And let's get into it. That card's come up a lot today, and I tend to shuffle, so that's kind of exciting. Okay, the last reading I did also had this card in it. I don't love this card, but there are some things in it that, like, I normally just look at this card as a negative, but sometimes there are positive aspects to it, and this is a very positive card, and then this card is fairly positive with just maybe some concerns about the way you could do things differently. But let's do this the way I said the spread was going to be. Let's not read this as if this is something that's going to happen in the future. It's not. This part of the reading is about you. So I'm going to say that you are a very celebratory person, a very hospitable person. You like to bring people into your situation. You like to have lots of people around you. I'm going to say that you have not always had enough money in life, or it could be, depending, because I'm reading for lots of people here, or the greatest of health. You've had some either huge monetary challenges or huge health challenges that you've needed to overcome. And you feel at times I guess everybody does on some level, but some more than others because of a variety of reasons. And you feel really overburdened a good portion of the time. But you also have this really positive aspect to you. So a lot of the overburdened stuff is in the pursuit of positive things. And you are in action. This is not necessarily a bad card. It just either means you're taking on too much, you're trying to do so much and it's really, really difficult, or you're not doing it in the most efficient way possible. So maybe that needs to be reworked a little bit. Or, because this is about you, it doesn't mean this is happening this minute. It could mean that you have always been one to take on too much. Just a person who takes on too much, which is why you might really appreciate those celebratory, fun times, even more than the average, because you're a hard worker. And you've had some challenges. This could even represent a bit of the challenge. Things to overcome, things that are, where you've, in spite of your challenges, had to really work really hard. I have found that a lot of people who've come from poverty work incredibly hard to achieve greater things, and so that they never have to feel that way again. And also a lot of people who've had really serious health challenges work really hard at sometimes work, but also sometimes at maintaining that good health, which can be a project in itself, as we all know. So that's about you. So this is about what's going on. Ooh, one of my favorite cards. Wow. Very, very powerful here. Fiery. The Emperor. Now, the Emperor is about really strong authority. So if you have a boss or some other authority figure, a father or somebody that you respect or that you have to deal with a lot, the Emperor can represent that. He's very strong, very powerful, decisive, runs a good show, whether it's a business, usually very successful. He's very, very good at getting people to do what he wants. He's very outgoing, not afraid to state what he has to state. He is a very strong authority figure, very male, typically male qualities, but strong male, strong, powerful male. That does not mean you cannot be the female and having the qualities of the emperor. You can. In fact, I believe I do. I'm Aries, and the emperor represents Aries. And it's really weird, though. The one thing that's weird about the emperor card is it represents Aries, and Aries tend to be sort of, we don't always want to do the serious thing, and we don't always like authority, and we tend to be sort of youthful. And the Emperor, in spite of the fact that it represents Aries, is sort of the stronger side of all that. It's not the youthful part or the fun part or the partying part. It's more the decisive, authoritative part. So it's not the most fun card in the world, but it's certainly positive. So the Queen of Wands. The Queen of Wands is social, open, very fun to talk to, very fiery personality, can accomplish pretty much anything. She is also a very powerful card, runs a good home or business or kingdom of sorts. Very good at putting anything she wants to put into action. So, I mean, if this is what you're doing in life, you must be a real action person, and either these are people that you have to deal with, like the Queen of Wands could quite likely be, maybe you're married to this person, maybe this is your mom or your sister or your best friend. If that's the case, this is a really good person to be exposed to, a very, very strong action person. Or these could be things that relate to what you're doing. If you're starting a business and putting this into action, you could be, starting this up, and you're nurturing the business and you're growing it and you're creating. And then if you're the boss, you are the authority figure. You are the person who has to make the decisions. So these could be things that you're up to. Some of you are, I'm sure. So it just depends on your own situation. It can also be having these qualities towards your home. I mean, maybe you have a bunch of kids and you have to be very decisive and, organize everybody and create and be creative and, have an element of fun and openness and flexibility and all the things you need to have that situation. I mean, whatever your situation is, you could be bringing this to the table. Now, as much as these two characters are in cahoots and they obviously complement each other, in some ways, even though they're both incredibly fiery, they both have opposite characteristics also, because he represents authority and she represents more of the she can be very authoritative also, so I don't want to take that away from her, but she also has a very fun side to her and a very creative and, fiery sort of a, social and fun aspect to her. So that's exciting. Both of those cards are exciting and positive. So I hope something great is happening for you this week. And then the Four of Swords is a card about reflection. It almost doesn't feel, well, I guess on some level, I guess it can go with anything, but somehow it feels a little oddly out of place with this really intense nature on either side of it. But then again, maybe that's why you need to sort of take stock and reflect. So this card is about going within, figuring things out, trying to, maybe it's all about the action that you're going to perform. If this is your work, or this is, something else important and wonderful that you want to put into action. I mean, it could be anything. But whatever the thing is, maybe this is just a reminder to really take stock of what you've got, what you need to do, what your next step is going to be. All of those things. Go within yourself. Figure it out. Are you up for the task? Good. Now that you've acknowledged that, figure out exactly what you're going to do step by step and make it all work out. It's all really positive. It's all looking good. This is not a great card like we discussed, but it's okay because it's not surrounded by anything else terrible. I think whatever it is, it's just part of what makes you you. It might be just these challenges you've had to overcome. So the outcome. Wow. Well, this is fun. This is about a decision. There's a decision you need to make, and you need to find clarity or truth about something. Maybe that's why we're going within to reflect and think things out, to figure out something which will enable you to make this decision here. Maybe this decision. So, you know, when we figure out a spread, I mean, some of them are traditional and they've gone on forever, but if you make up a spread or you do a new spread, the fact is I could tell you this card means exactly this one thing and this one thing only. But quite honestly, there's a ton of carryover, because if this is what's going on this week, it will affect this. But, you know, it's not written in blood that this exact card means this one thing and this one thing only. It's just like, if I tell you this could be something that comes from your past, it could be. And then if it affects you mentally, it can carry into your future also. You might be able to, if it's negative, you can minimize it. That's up to you. But, you know, we have all these components that make us up, and it's very complicated. So the really valuable thing about the cards is it gets you to be able to figure out a lot of aspects. And I'm not going to tell you it doesn't have any kind of magical or predictive component. It actually does. Which you will see in time if you haven't seen that already. I mean, people who get regular card readings are actually quite impressed at, or I don't know if I want to say the word impressed, but quite surprised at how you can go through life and never get a certain card. I mean, that's not really mathematically possible if you get enough readings, but it still happens. I get pretty much the same readings over and over and over and over and over and over. There are a handful of cards that I just get over and over. They are my cards. They always come up. You know, it's really quite amazing. So there's a decision that needs to be made here. But this is quite beautiful, because then you've got the star. This is a card about hope and really wonderful things that are to come. It's like the light at the end of the tunnel. It's got water in it, so it has purification. It's just a beautiful, beautiful card. It's so much about your attitude. Like, you will find this peaceful, hopeful feeling, which is so good for us to have, and sometimes we're missing, which makes life so hard. So the star is really good. It's not blind hope that, you know, oh, I'm a leaf in the wind and I hope things go right. It's nothing like that at all. It's more about, you will know that you have the capacity to get to whatever you want to get to. And that is very freeing, very freeing. You won't feel blindfolded and bound when that happens. And the lovers, I hope this is a beautiful relationship that you have, or that's going to come into your life, because the lovers is a very special card. It's all about love, not I mean, I've had people read this card as it could be a business partnership and all that. I have not found that to be true. The lovers is lovers. It's not a business. It's a beautiful card. It's the feeling of that ultimate connection. It's amazing. It is the beginning of all kinds of beautiful and very hopeful things. So most of this is excellent. I think you're going to have a great week, Cancer. I wish you the absolute best, and I hope to talk to you next week again. Take care.